Hello guys, welcome back. In this video, we're gonna learn about selection sort algorithm and how it works and how do we implement it by using code. So let us see and analyze it with an example. So let us say I'm having a list that is 96451. Now in this list, in the first time, what I want to do is first time at first what I want to do first I want to first what I want to do, I want to arrange, or you can say move my smallest element. I want to move my smallest element to the first index. So how can I move my smallest element of my given array to given list to first index? So this is the thing that I want to do. So first, to move this, I want to find what is the smallest element. So what is the smallest element is the thing that I need to find. Smallest element in my list. So smallest element in my list I want to find. To find the smallest element, or you can say minimum element, I want to find minimum element of my list. What is the current minimum element of the list? That is 1. So after moving from starting till ending of my list, I can find my minimum element as 1. So this is the minimum element. I want to move it to first index. So now I found my minimum element, that is 1. I want to swap first index, or else you can say first element with, I want to swap first element with minimum element, so that how my list will become 1, 6, 4, 5, 9. Since the smallest element need to occupy its first position, I'm swapping this smallest element to first position. So now my first index got fixed because it is already sorted, my first element. Now what I need to sort, sir? Since first element is sorted, I now need to sort the remaining elements of my given list. So to sort the remaining elements of the given list, what I need to do? I again need to repeat the same thing. I assume this list, in this sublist, I again need to find what is the minimum element. In this sublist, I again need to find what is the minimum element. So now minimum element in this sublist is 4. Is it? 4 is less than every element, right? So my minimum element is what? 4. So I again need to swap. I again need to swap second element with minimum element. So again need to swap second element with minimum element. Then how my list will become? 1, 4, 6, 5, 9. This is how my list will become after sorting the second element. Now first two elements got sorted. So I don't need to check or do it again. Now, what is my list remaining that I need to sort is 6, 5, and 9. Now, in this list, what I want to do, sir? I want to find again my minimum element I need to find again. So, what is the minimum element among this list? My minimum element is 5, sir. So, that 5 I need to swap third element with minimum element again. So how my list will become 1, 4, 5, 6, 9. This is how my list will become. In this way, I need to swap the third element with the minimum element. You can see all my list got sorted now. Or else you can say up to third element, my list got sorted. Now, if we try to sort, again, if I want to find the minimum element in the sublist, I again got 6. So if I check with the current element and minimum element both are having same index, so I don't need to sort them or else I don't need to swap them again. In final, I'm having 9 that is already in sorted because only one element is already sorted, right? So in this selection sort, we can sort in this way. That is what we did, sir. Now we just iterated over the given list and find the minimum element. So we just iterated over the given list and find the minimum element. Then we just swapped the minimum element with first element. So this is how we swapped this. So let us write code for this. So this is how the algorithm works. This is how the algorithm works. Now let us try to generate code for it. So how do we generate the code? So now let us write code for this subpart first. First, I'm taking my index as first index. So let me say I want to move my minimum element to first index. So currently I want to pick my index as 1. So I want my first index to be minimum element. So I pick my current index as 1. Okay. Now what I need, sir? I want the minimum element index as well. So how do I find the minimum element index? Minimum index, let's say whatever I picked, that index be the minimum. Let us assume whatever I picked index, that is the minimum element index. So let us iterate over our given list and check is there any index which is having minimum element than currently we are assuming minimum index, right? For that, if there is any minimum element index than currently or assuming minimum element index, then we replace our minimum index to that whatever minimum element index do we got. So for that, to iterate over our given list, I need to move from next element, right? So current element, I do not need to check it again. So current index is what? 0, right? So let us write indexes as well. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So currently I want my 0 indexed element to be smallest. So let us say my minimum index be that 0 only. Now I want to iterate over my list. So for I in range of, so from where I want to check, from 1 I want to check. How do I get 1? Based on current index. So based on current index, if I add 1 to it, then I got the next index, the immediately next index of my current index. So I want to check from immediately next index of my current index to get the minimum value. Till where I want to check, sir? For this example, I will check till 5. In general, till where I want to check, sir? Till the end, I want to check. How do I get the end, sir? If you find the length of your list, if you find the length of your list, that is nothing but the end. So what is the length of the list? That is 5. So to use the length of list, to find the length of the list, you can use len function. Let us say my list is stored in lst variable. So you can use this length of list to move till end. So let me assume my list is stored in lst variable. Lst is equals to 9, 6, 4, 5 and 1. So now we are moving from immediately next element of current index till end. We are moving from immediately next of current index, that is 1, till end, that is till 5. So now what we need to check, sir? I need to check, is there any minimum element? Is there any minimum element than what I'm assuming as minimum element? So let me say I'm assuming my minimum element as whatever the element present in the minimum index. That is list of minimum index is the minimum element, that is I'm assuming that as my minimum element. If if I found any index, if I found any index, let me say index is the variable that will store the indexes. So if I found any index where the element which is present in that list at that index is less than whatever I assuming as minimum element, then I need to replace my minimum element index as that index. So what I'm doing, sir, now I'm just assuming my minimum element is present at my minimum index only. But if I encountered element which is less than the minimum element, in that case I need to replace my minimum index with that index. You can check here. I assume 0 is my minimum element index. But whenever I encountered 6, even 6 is less than 9, right? So now compared to these two, what is the minimum? 6. So I need to assume now my minimum index is 1, not 0, it is 1 that I need to assume. So to modify that, I'm just comparing whatever I assuming minimum element, and now I'm comparing it with current element. So if current element is less than whatever I'm assuming minimum element, then I need to replace my minimum index with the minimum element, whatever the index that I got for that minimum element. After iterating over whole list, after checking over a whole list, I got the minimum index. So now I need to swap. So what I need to do? I need to swap minimum element with current element. So I need to swap minimum element with current element. So how do we get minimum element, sir? In the list, what is the element present at minimum index? That is the minimum element. How do I get current element, sir? In the list, whatever the element which is present at current index, that is the current element. I need to swap. So to swap that, for minimum element, I need to put the current element. I need to swap it with, for minimum element, I need to swap it with current element. For current element, I need to swap it with minimum element. So how do I get minimum element? At minimum index, whatever the element which is present, that is minimum element. So in this way, we can swap. So now you can tell me, after this whole operation, after this whole operation, now let me write this in next line. So here let me write. So now after this whole operation, what happens, sir? After this whole operation, what happens is, from this list, what is the list? Yeah, from this list, I'll get this list. That is, 1 got swapped to the first position and 9 got swapped to the last position. It's not particularly last. Wherever 1 present at that position, this element swap. So what do we get? First smallest element I got, that is zeroth index got what happens, sir? Zeroth index got sorted. Zeroth index got sorted. Now to sort first index, I again need to perform the same logic by just picking current index as 1. Is it? If I just pick current index as 1, then from immediately after current index, it just checks where is the smallest element, and just it will, what it will do, it will sort, it will swap again. So in that case, in that way, my element will be sorted. So how do we perform next first index, second index, third index, and fourth index to get whole list to be sorted, sir? So I performed my current index as 0. That's why my 0th index got sorted. Now I need to perform first index, second index, third index, and fourth index. How do we perform, sir? We simply take a for loop for current index, so that each and every time I pick one by one element, and then every element got sorted. So for current index in range of, from where we are starting? We are starting from 0th index till where we are going? We are going till 5th index. In generalized way, what is 5, sir? For this particular list, 5 is the length of the list. So I need to move till length. So I can use length variable. Yeah. So till length of my list, I need to sort them. 0th index I need to sort. First index I need to sort. Second index I need to sort. Third index I need to sort. Fourth index I need to sort. In that way, I need to sort whole my list. This is how sorting happens in selection sort. So let us check it by executing in our IDE. So let us check by executing this in our IDE. So let me copy the code from here. So now just I copied the list, I copied the code what I have generated, and let me paste it in my PyCharm IDE, so that we can observe what is it is executing or not. So let me paste this code here. So I just pasted the code after sorting whole my list. So this also need to have tab space. So After sorting my whole list, let me check it is working correctly or not. To check my list is sorted or not, let me just print my list after the process got completed. So let me run it. So you can see my list is not sorted. Why? We got our output as sorted only, but in reverse order we are getting. You, you can check our list is sorted, but in reverse I am getting. Why I am getting in reverse? So you can see here we put less than symbol. That is what this condition indicates is that whatever I'm thinking it as minimum, but whatever the element that I'm getting as maximum, then I'm taking that as minimum value. But here what I need to put is greater than. Whatever the thing that I'm thinking it as minimum, but that is greater than the current element, then I need to put my minimum index as the current element index. So that I need to do. During explaining we worked correctly, but writing the code we just. So I hope this video is understandable. You can check the output got correct. It is sorted in ascending order. So a small change here, that's it. So while writing code, you need to improve this type of skill, like where our code works wrong. So you just need to analyze the code. It must happens. Obviously, it happens most cases. So you need to analyze the code where I'm doing the mistake. This is where the development process comes. Analyze your code and check where your code goes wrong. At there, you need to modify the code so that you get the respective correct output. So I hope you understood how to correct your mistakes as well in this video. So here so let me revise it with a brief. So what I'm doing is I'm taking a list and just what I'm doing, I'm just finding the length. So by using this code, I just picked the minimum element and just arrange it to current index. Whatever the current index may be, after the current index, I'm checking is there any minimum element. Then I need to pick that minimum element. I need to swap with the current index so that I got the minimum element. That is the thing I'm doing here. So in this particular, I'm just finding the minimum element index. How to find the minimum element index of a given list, that is find by using like this. After that, I just want to sort every element, right? So that's why I'm just iterating over whole my list by putting the current element as 0, 1, 2, 3 till length of my list so that my whole list got sorted. So in this way, I just sorted in where by using selection sort and I just printed my list. I hope this video is understandable to you. So please try to practice so that you can able to implement this algorithm in your current task or else in your future tasks, or else you can able to simply derive your own algorithm and you can able to implement that algorithm in your code. After practicing this, you can even able to check your codes whether they are working correctly or not by only practicing. Please try to comment how do you feel about this video, because comment will suggest more audience. If you like this video to reach more audience, please try to comment. So thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe and hit the bell icon to get the latest updates. Let us see with the next video. Until then, bye bye.